what it is, why Honduras hasn't made it to the headlines in 2021, because there are so many topics, humanitarian topics and others, which would be really worth addressing and catching when it comes to global media attention. But before we are doing that, please let me dive into some technicalities, because as you can hear, we are going to talk English in the course of our conversation, but our panelists are going to talk Spanish. So if you prefer to follow their contributions in Spanish, you can do so. But as well, if you need a translation in English, you can use the translation, the interpretation button below the screen. You will find the little globe there and the hint interpretation where you can choose the channel you would prefer. And so there's the option English or Spanish. Choose the one which is best for you, so you can follow our conversation easier. As well, if you would like to give us your questions, your answers, you can use different languages. You can give them in English, Spanish, as well French and German. So whatever suits you best, please follow them. Yeah, and I'd say this is the technicality part of our webcast, and now we are diving into everything Honduras has to offer. And yeah, it is with a reason that Honduras is on our list in terms of humanitarian challenges. We're talking about a population, 1/3 of Honduras' population is facing hunger issues, food insecurities. We've got inequalities when it comes to security, in terms of political and other participation in society. We've got the world's highest murder crime record. So this is really a challenging situation for each and everyone living in Honduras. And on top, we've got the challenges coming from COVID-19, the loss of jobs. We've got hurricane situations, which faces, which makes people suffer even more. And on top, there is the pull towards the US, unformalized migration towards the United States of America. So there are many, this is a toxic cocktail, a toxic situation, and people are facing violence, poverty, and political corruption. So this is to give you a glimpse of the situation in Honduras. And Care was kind enough to give us 2 charts to just give you a little bit more background. And here we have chart number 1. And you can see in terms of humanitarian indices, Honduras is ranking pretty low. For example, Gender Inequality Index 2019, you can see it's ranked 100 out of 162, so quite low. The second chart, which Care prepared, is giving you a little bit more background in terms of food insecurity, poverty, and in terms of crime statistics. Every 29 hours, a femicide is committed. So women and girls are very much affected and vulnerable. And so we are certainly diving into that topic too. So this is in terms of statistics. And now I have the huge pleasure to welcome our panelists live from Honduras. And I would like to start with Alba Elena Toledo Chirinos. Elena is an educational counselor with a lot of working experience in vulnerable communities. For example, ethnic minorities, but she has worked in prisons and with migrants. She has been working as a journalist, has been publishing as a correspondent for Central America and Mexico for the Panama Post newspaper. She was a fellow of the Atlas Network and is currently communications officer at Fundación Eleutera. And there, the foundation's work we're going to highlight in terms of education, migration, energy sector, so a full range of topics. We're very, very happy to have you on board. Welcome, Elena.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and talk about these topics that are affecting Honduras right now. Thank you.
Great. Next one is Elisabeth Michler. She has a degree in political science and modern history from the universities of Bonn and Potsdam in Germany, and she is representative of Friedrich-Naumann Foundation for Freedom since 2006. She has been working in different posts for the foundation, for example, as regional assistant for Latin America, as well as coordinator of the programs for Central American climate change. Currently, she serves as project director for Central America and is going to talk about the impact the foundation hopes to achieve in Central America and more specifically in Honduras. It's fantastic to have you with us. Welcome, Elisabeth.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to be with you.
Lovely. And the third person live from Honduras is Maite Martino. She is country director of CARE Honduras and has been working with international NGOs for quite a while. I saw since 2004 and saw that you have been doing work for Oxfam, for example. And in Honduras, you're trying to work on strengthening civil society, poverty reduction, and social justice. So we are very, very curious to find out what CARE is doing in Honduras. Welcome, bienvenida, Maite.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure for me to be here with you and share this panel with Elena and Elisabeth and you. Yeah,
lovely. Later on, all three of you, we agreed you are going to talk in Spanish, right? So feel free, and our translator will come back with an English version for our broader public. Before we are diving into our dialogue, please let me hint to a fact that is important for CARE too, because it's very easy to just submerge in a gloomy picture of Honduras. And this is by far not what CARE and Friedrich Naumann is wanting to highlight, because obviously we would like to give it a positive spin too, and to paint a picture of hope and vision too. So please, be advised, it is not only a gloomy picture, but we want to paint a picture of hope and energy and So this is important for all of us in terms of the outlook of our conversation. Maite, let me start with your work at CARE. I know that CARE has been present in Honduras since 1954, so it's a huge time frame, and obviously you have been witnessing all this in terms of huge inequalities, crime rates, natural disasters. What is CARE doing right now? Because I know there have been the effect of hurricanes Eta and Iota in 2020, right?
Sí, gracias, Vita. Como tú bien dices, ¿verdad? CARE tiene un trabajo sostenido desde hace muchos años en el país y ha venido evolucionando a lo largo de los años para responder y apoyar de la mejor manera a las comunidades más vulnerables y marginadas. Actualmente nosotros estamos respondiendo a 4 emergencias. Como tú bien pusiste al principio, es importante comprender que estamos hablando de crisis sobrepuestas, ¿verdad? No es que una sola crisis afecte a un grupo de personas, sino que varias crisis están afectando de manera simultánea a las personas, y en ese sentido, pues como CARE nosotros estamos respondiendo a la emergencia sanitaria, específicamente en temas de salud, apoyando sobre todo a centros de salud primaria, apoyándoles con equipamiento, apoyándoles con suministros, apoyándoles en todo el tema también de concientización y sensibilización para poblaciones que son comunidades rurales muy remotas con estos temas de acceso a la vacunación, y también impulsando una campaña de prevención de la violencia de género y cómo también el tema de desigualdades afecta en el acceso a la vacunación. Al mismo tiempo, nosotros estamos respondiendo a las personas que fueron afectadas, personas desplazadas por ETA y IOTA. Particularmente estamos actualmente apoyando muy fuertemente en tema de recuperación de medios de vida de las personas que fueron afectadas, ya sea en sus actividades agrícolas o actividades sobre todo de microemprendimientos. Y este es un trabajo pues realmente muy importante porque las personas que fueron afectadas, realmente muchas personas perdieron casas, perdieron activos productivos, perdieron sus animalitos, entonces perdieron sus empleos, los que estaban cerca también de zonas bananeras, maquilas. Entonces es una situación realmente muy, muy complicada para las personas afectadas por ETA y IOTA, y al mismo tiempo estamos apoyando a las comunidades, sobre todo a las organizaciones comunitarias en temas también de cómo estar mejor preparados para las emergencias. Ya se viene nuevamente la temporada de huracanes y lluvias, y muchas de las infraestructura pública de bordos que son necesarios para contener todo el tema de las inundaciones no ha sido reparado. Así que hay muchísimas personas que están con mucha miedo a lo que se viene porque realmente están en gran fragilidad y vulnerabilidad. La otra emergencia que estamos respondiendo es la emergencia por la violencia de género, ¿verdad? Al mismo tiempo que la pandemia generó pues tanta falta de movilidad y restricción y hubo un impacto muy fuerte en la violencia intrafamiliar y doméstica, también con el tema de la crisis se ha generado mucho estrés a nivel de las familias, mucho estrés también en términos de la economía del cuidado, y el Estado realmente, hay una brecha muy importante en el acceso a los servicios de protección frente a la violencia de género. Entonces estamos apoyando, facilitando servicios de protección y al mismo tiempo apoyando a comunidades en campañas de prevención de la violencia de género y trabajando con las instituciones que deben de facilitar estos servicios. Y la otra emergencia que estamos apoyando es con migrantes retornados. Como tú bien mencionaste, hay una migración irregular muy fuerte, y solo el año pasado de migrantes retornados estamos hablando que anualmente son entre 40,000 y 50,000 personas que regresan al país en unas condiciones de muchísima vulnerabilidad. Al tiempo que estamos apoyando en respuesta a las emergencias para la población más vulnerable, pues seguimos con nuestros programas de desarrollo regular, tratando también de vincular temas de construcción de resiliencia con mejores oportunidades para las personas, ¿verdad? Y es todo un reto, pero ahí estamos tratando de articular con este enfoque también de vincular respuesta, resiliencia y desarrollo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Maite. So you have given us the big picture, and I guess this big picture is affecting each and every one of our other guests too. Elena, talking about Fundación Eleutera. First of all, could you give us a brief idea of what the foundation is doing? You are promoting the ideas of freedom to the public. This is what the mantra of the foundation, but what is it specifically you are doing?
Bueno, muy buenos días de este lado del mundo, y buenas tardes para ustedes. Nosotros somos un think tank que promovemos reformas y nuevas políticas públicas para en temas económicos, temas de educación. Tenemos un poco con la ayuda de la Fundación Naumann, hemos comenzado un observatorio de migraciones desde hace aproximadamente año y medio. Trabajamos educación y temas que al final impacten en la economía del hondureño y de su calidad de vida. Y como Maite ya me antecedió muy bien, pues podemos ver que los temas que afectan la calidad de vida del hondureño son muchísimos, pero nosotros tratamos de enfocarnos en lo económico y en la facilitación de procesos administrativos. Entonces, Eleutera en su origen y en su esencia es una organización única en Honduras. Sabemos que en otros países, como organizaciones como nosotros, hay decenas, pero en Honduras pues estamos abriendo brecha en este sentido, así que esto es lo que hacemos aquí.
So it's really a trailblazing work you're doing, what I understand, because you said in other countries there are many different players who are offering and supporting society in the ways you're doing in Honduras. And obviously it's a kind of monopoly you have, and this is so important to keep on pushing, because I know, because you are promoting the free market changes, and later on we are going to address this in terms of energy market, because you as Fundación Eolotera, you were able to push the market in ways that is liberating for whole Honduras. So I find it quite breathtaking, and we are certainly going to dive into that deeper. Thank you very much, Elena, for the moment. Elisabeth, La Fundación Naumann in Honduras. Your hub is in your Central American hub is in Honduras, right?
Exactly. Exactamente. Tenemos nuestra oficina para Centroamérica en Tegucigalpa, Honduras, con responsabilidad para los 6 países de la región, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica y Panamá. Y desde Honduras coordinamos la labor que se hace en la región, enfocada desde una perspectiva regional hacia los temas que ya se han mencionado antes, ¿verdad? El tema de educación es importante. Trabajamos específicamente en temas de brecha digital, de educación dual. En el área de emprendimiento e innovación, buscamos generar las mejores condiciones marco para que los emprendedores logren realmente aterrizar sus ideas en la práctica, y con ello a la vez sean personas que van a generar fuentes de empleo, ¿verdad? Pero también trabajamos en temas de liberalización de los mercados energéticos, como también ya se mencionó, en colaboración con Fundación Eolotera, pero también en otros países. Trabajamos sobre el desarrollo de ciudades inteligentes con el fin de mejorar la calidad de vida de los ciudadanos. Cuando hablamos de ciudades inteligentes, no necesariamente tenemos que pensar de inmediato en digitalización, tecnología solamente, sino que las ciudades inteligentes también implican la generación de espacios públicos, implican el tratamiento de la basura, el tratamiento del agua, etcétera, distintos temas que abordamos en ese rubro. Y un ámbito importante es, por supuesto, el de los derechos humanos, donde trabajamos temas de migración, pero también temas de empleabilidad inclusiva, porque hay muchos grupos vulnerables de alguna forma que no tienen acceso al mercado laboral, pero que si lo tuvieran, esto les permitiría, por supuesto, generar bienestar para sí mismos, para su sociedad, y lograr salir adelante, ¿verdad? En una sociedad desarrollada. Entonces, a grandes rasgos, estos son los temas, y seguramente en el transcurso de los siguientes minutos vamos a poder ahondar en algunos de ellos y explicar el por qué justamente trabajamos estos temas y cómo buscamos impactar en las sociedades centroamericanas.
Great, fantastic. The audience is asking the interpreter to please talk loudly and clearly. So obviously there's still a little bit a technical hiccup when it comes to the English translation. So please, Sandra, could you please listen to that? And that would be very kind of you. Thank you very much. So we're continuing. Maite, let me continue asking you. I mean, the reality in Tegucigalpa is very different from those on the countryside, right? I mean, we're talking about marginalized people, a smart city. How does smart city concept work on the countryside? I mean, there are people so vulnerable, affected. What can you offer them in terms of better living conditions as care?
Sí, una pregunta interesante y difícil, ¿verdad? Pero lo que nosotros como CARE realmente estamos buscando es cómo trabajar con una plataforma de actores sociales, ¿verdad? En las comunidades más remotas, más vulnerables, y cómo fortalecer como el capital humano de estas personas en sus grupos. Estoy hablando de cajas de ahorro, asociaciones de productores, redes de mujeres, productores que están en el café o que están emprendedoras. Entonces, realmente estamos buscando fortalecer este ecosistema de actores, ¿verdad? Para poder vincular a las personas que tienen sus retos de sobrevivencia, de demanda, pero que tienen también un capital social muy importante, con proveedores de servicios, con gobiernos locales, inclusive con actores del sector privado, ¿verdad? Sector privado que sabemos que también en nuestras economías, en el momento que estamos, juega un papel importante. Eso es lo que estamos buscando, ¿verdad? Nosotros realmente nos enfocamos en cuáles son el potencial y cuáles son las actividades económicas, y principalmente estamos apoyando y trabajando con mujeres y jóvenes que sabemos que no tienen acceso a la tierra, que no tienen acceso a los activos productivos. Entonces, ¿dónde está el potencial de estas personas? No solamente como individuos, sino como colectivos, ¿verdad? Entonces, promovemos sobre todo ese empoderamiento individual, ese empoderamiento colectivo, y trabajamos con gobiernos locales o con actores que tienen el poder de toma de decisión para realmente compartir esta perspectiva propia de las comunidades y de las personas sobre su propio desarrollo. Entonces, ese es mucho del trabajo que estamos haciendo, y concretamente estamos promoviendo emprendimientos con mujeres y jóvenes, inclusión financiera, ¿verdad? O sea, no solamente es desarrollo de sus habilidades de negocio, sino que puedan tener el acceso al financiamiento, que puedan tener el acceso a la tecnología, ¿verdad? Sabemos que con todo el tema de la pandemia ha sido tan complicado, pero al mismo tiempo sabemos que las personas tienen que comer al día a día, y que mucha de su actividad económica está en la agricultura de subsistencia, agricultura familiar, y están luchando por diversificar sus medios de vida, y eso es lo que estamos tratando de apoyar, ¿verdad? Si eres agricultor, si eres agricultora, pero sabemos que no es suficiente para sobrevivir, y entonces estamos apoyándoles para diversificar sus actividades económicas al mismo tiempo.
Okay, so it's exciting, and obviously it's a project. You are not achieving your goals within a year or something. So we're talking about a midterm and long-term perspective of each and every project you have been referencing, right?
Claro, eso es un abordaje integral, Brita. Yo creo que estos abordajes sectoriales que teníamos en el pasado, muchas de nuestras organizaciones tienen que trascender para buscar realmente abordajes integrales y que respondan a las necesidades y a las potencialidades de las personas. Las personas con las que trabajamos realmente, ellos saben y ellas saben qué es lo que necesitan, ¿verdad? Nosotros somos un facilitador para poder realmente ver la manera de acelerar el cambio en las vidas. Entonces, al mismo tiempo que estamos tratando de apoyarles para construir su resiliencia y para la sobrevivencia, porque muchos fueron afectados con las emergencias, estamos también trabajando para que esa visión de un desarrollo y sobre todo una recuperación de la vida más transformadora por lo que estamos viviendo sea algo que podemos trabajar juntos como CARE.
Thank you. Apologies for technical problems. There's still a problem with the interpretation and the way the audience cannot understand Sandra. So either we switch to English and let Sandra it working out, or we continue in Spanish and see if the technical support can fix it. Please give us a signal. I know all three of you is able to continue in English, so we just need an idea of the technical support. For the time being, I will continue in English and you three ladies in Spanish, and we see how it goes on the way. Apologies for that. Elena, let us continue talking about Fundación Eleutera and the competitive energy market in Honduras. I know before it had been a state monopoly, and people had to accept what the state offered. But you, as Fundación Eleutera, were able to push it in a direction that is freeing Honduras in terms of energy market, right?
Sí. Y respiro un poco antes de abordar el tema, porque justamente hoy el gobierno está presentando una nueva ley de energía, lo cual viene a echar a la borda el trabajo que hemos tenido durante alrededor de 6 años en este tema. No hay claridad todavía exacta de lo que está pasando, de lo que va a pasar con el tema de energía, con toda la estructura de mercado abierto que se había propuesto. Creemos que haya potencialmente un retroceso y que nuevamente se concentre las decisiones y la generación en la estatal, dejando por fuera figuras de comercializadoras de energía, grandes consumidores.
Elena, could you switch to English, please? We still have a problem, so we continue in English. Is it okay, Elena? Could you please? Apologies. Yeah.
So right now we are in a very difficult moment for the energy sector, and the government is changing the game absolutely. So we don't know what's happening. We don't know if they're gonna take these private companies, and everything is very confused right now, because in 3 days they changed the game, and we don't know what's gonna happen next week, for example. Okay. So we are very worried about it, because at the end the population is gonna pay this change, and we're going to have it's not so higher prices of the energy. We don't gonna have energy at all. So let's see what happens, and this is gonna make more difficult the situation, the economy for the people, and maybe this is going to impact even more in the migration. So let's see what's happening in the next weeks or the next days. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow, that sounds very different from the information I got, because you had published a press release where they were very optimistic and very, very happy about the outcome, in helping the Honduran people to access cheaper energy, and but obviously we understand that the situation is changing very quickly in Honduras. Yeah,
it's the problem. The rules change overnight.
Yeah.
This is one of the biggest problems that we have on the rule of law in our country. And that's what we don't have a stable economy, and all these problems that I talked to you in the email. So yeah, like you are surprised, and we are surprised too about this decision. So I don't know what more can I say about it.
Yeah. So hopefully something is coming back in your favor. But in the meantime, obviously, this is something, and the bigger picture is pushing people outside Honduras. Obviously, there is a lack of jobs, violence, poverty. I mean, Elisabeth, you as a foundation, I mean, you are witnessing migration to the States, and obviously people who are coming back. What is the situation? What is your take as foundation to help to alleviate suffering and to make people stronger, either staying in Honduras or welcoming those who have been outside for a while and trying to make a living coming back to Honduras?
Yeah, it might sound like a cliche to work at the roots of migration, but it is in fact the only thing we are currently doing. On the one hand, offering or working for better educational systems, for improving the quality of education, offering concepts of dual education, technical education, which offers opportunities to young people that maybe do not want or can't access to universities, but still can get an opportunity through this system that we know very well in Germany, and that really opens up new options for young people in the country. And then if you consider that 75% of the working population is working in the informal sector, and due to the pandemic, lost job opportunities and so on. It is of no wonder that people try to leave their country, thinking of a better future in the United States, and taking every risk they are taking while going north during a pandemic. So that shows you the very desperate situation people are living or are experiencing, and why they decide to leave. So in order to reactivate the economy and foster economic opportunities for people, we work in the field of entrepreneurship, as I said in the beginning, because we think that this is a great opportunity for people to really implement their creative ideas, to try to get on and to try to have an income for their family, and also for other people. So fostering entrepreneurship and the economic reactivation is very important to the foundation, and we are working also on the improvement of legal frameworks that ease entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurs face many barriers when they try to establish their business.
Okay.
And then you, if I may, then you mentioned obviously all the people that are returning from the US that are deported. We are working exactly on inclusive employability, because all these people return to a society sometimes that they don't know anymore. Sometimes they have to reintegrate completely into the society, into the economic sector, and therefore they need opportunities to be reintegrated. But obviously many firms do not open up these opportunities always. And I'm not only talking about migrants that return, I'm also talking about women, about young people that come from the university or any other educational format, and LGBTI groups. So many people that deserve an opportunity to integrate themselves to the labor market. That's a very important issue for us as foundation, that we work on the framework conditions again that allow this inclusive employability and ease the situation of many people in Honduras and other countries of the region.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you, Elisabeth. Maite, talking about economic reactivation, I know that CARE has a line of work which is exclusively dedicated to women and girls, right? Because they are the most vulnerable and the most affected when it comes to poverty, violence, natural disasters. So what is CARE doing for women and girls to allow them to become part of the labor market and to be able to work for their own well-being and survival of their families?
We are working on 3 areas. One is more focused on agency, how we improve the skills, the capacities, the abilities of women and young women particularly, so they can have better opportunities for employability, for entrepreneurship, or for developing their agriculture activities. The other, and at that, in that area, we are facilitating financial resources through working with rural banks. We are also supporting them in order to access their production to markets at local level, especially. That's what we are doing. In some cases, we are promoting inclusive value chains in coffee, tourism, and agriculture. And we are also in the other area, we are working on the changing power relationship and social norms, because we know that a lot of the barriers that women are facing are related to gender inequality and discrimination and gender-based violence. So we are working with the women families, with women with the producer association organizations, and doing a work for changing the perception, the social imaginaries about gender, and doing a lot of work there. And this is a very important job in terms of prevention. And lastly, we are also working on influencing public policy by working with women rights organizations and with feminist organizations in order to have better women economic empowerment programs from government, and at the same time addressing gender-based violence programs. So we do like the three areas because we know the systemic change is also very important. For the last year, we worked with 50,000 women in different in different areas doing this kind of work: social empowerment, political empowerment, and economic empowerment. Yeah, and some inspiring story is that for the March 8th, during the celebration of women's rights, we achieved to bring the president of Honduras to La Esperanza in Tibuca with the indigenous woman network, so they can allow to present to the president their demands and needs. So this is the type of work that we are also doing for achieving change.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like a huge achievement. I can tell from your body language that you're very much in it, and you have all reason to be proud about this type of success. So hopefully it will be sustainable, and more than 50,000 women can voice their concerns and their demands. So hopefully someone is listening and someone is helping and adjusting. Elena, let's talk about the topic of entrepreneurship, which is sort of a mantra in Fundación Eleutera, because as I understand, you believe that that entrepreneurship is a powerful tool to lift people out of poverty. And I know that, for example, you have a project in line which is Mi Empresa. No, you are helping people to just get access to internet, to visibility of services, so people can found companies, their own enterprises, and become independent from state support or the absence of state support. Can you elaborate on that, please, Elena?
Yes, we believe in entrepreneurship like a powerful tool to fight for against the poverty, especially right now that the hurricanes Eta and Iota. We lost around 400,000 jobs in 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
But like 3 or 4 years ago, we started with a virtual platform. It's miempresaenlinea.com. It's like my enterpriseonline.com is in English. And the people can go for themselves to register their businesses. Before this platform, the cost of register a business, it was like $600, and right now they have a cost like zero, and because they don't need a lawyer, they don't need a special paper, they don't need signatures, they don't need stamps, and they can go and just online, and they go and can follow the steps, and they can register the society or their personal business there, and they can start to work in the formal sector. Mm-hmm. Because the informal sector in Honduras right now is around the 70% of the economy. That's why you see that the unemployment is just at 8%, and you say, oh, okay, that's low, but not. It's because the informal sector is in between the 70 and 80%, and it is really high. And we believe that the next years will be even higher if the government don't help to make easier the process for the people. And we have also we have another problem is a lot of loss. The gap of education is really big.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people, they can read and they can write, they can't. And so they need a lot of help, for example, and for the taxes, and they are very scared about they're gonna pay a lot of money in taxes, but they don't, because they don't have a lot of laws that protect them. And we work in this area too, to educate to the people about the taxes and the processes, and with the municipalities and the central government, how much money they are gonna pay. So this is very, very hard. This is very complicated, because you are fighting against the system, you know, and pushing the people that they need to go to the formal sector if they want to flourish and they want to find the prosperity. So and we have a lot of women in this area. There's some more single mothers and women in general that are trying to have a lot of, maybe they have a work in office, but like a side project they can have in entrepreneurship. So that go.
Yeah, so it's really it's a cultural shift you're trying to achieve by educating people in terms of financial and entrepreneur literacy. I mean, this is something you're trying to achieve, and this is something girl Elisabeth, the foundation obviously is pushing towards this too. I mean, in terms of freeing people, giving them education so they can try to work for themselves and for a better future. I know that you're a member of the Alianza para Centroamérica, and Fundación Eleotera is part of the network you're establishing. You, in your role as country director in Central American perspective, how is Honduras doing in terms of comparing the situation in Honduras with Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Panama? I mean, how is the eagle view on Honduras?
Well, we have two main developments in the region, or three if you want to. Obviously, Nicaragua with a very disappointing way and a very worrying situation, a political situation, with Ortega, President Ortega establishing a dictatorship that is not anymore having any respect for human rights and the political opposition. So this is the most worrying country, I would say. And then you have the two other groups of countries, I would say. You have Costa Rica and Panama. In Panama, that have a very different development from the beginning on, since the governing elites in one moment of history said, okay, we don't want to go anymore the path of interest-led politics, but we want to really implement reforms and form of government that will benefit the population.
Yeah.
And then you have the three countries of the north of the region, Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador, that are facing, as we know, and in the report of CARE, we also have the situation of Guatemala. So you can see we have two countries, and El Salvador is a similar situation, also with a very worrying political development over there. But the three countries of the north that are facing similar problems: migration, poverty, not enough education formats, and the system that which has not enough quality to really foster development, and obviously missing economic opportunities in every sense. I would say there are very important efforts that are done in the countries, in Honduras, and we are sitting here with Elena and Maite. Those efforts we want to support from the Naumann Foundation, obviously, because they are very important. So the countries have many important challenges, but many people also that are willing to face these challenges and to find solutions for them. And that's also a way in which the Friedrich-Naumann Foundation supports the development in these countries, since we identified some years ago that the regional approach of the topics does make sense, because the topics and the challenges are similar. So why not analyze the possibility to design common approaches that obviously have national characteristics, and you don't have one solution that fits every challenge in every country. But I think the exchange that the foundation is fostering among its partners in the Alianza para Centroamérica is very important, because you don't always have to create whole new concepts or ideas, but you can collaborate with others and maybe copy, as to say, in a way, or adapt solutions that are working in other countries. And for example, our network also of smart cities and smart municipalities is an exchange, or fosters the exchange of best practices between Central American municipalities and Mexican municipalities. And but we don't only foster the exchange, but also the implementation of those best practices. As I mentioned, when you think of smart cities, you are not always talking about high tech and this as solution for everything, but you are talking about looking for solutions that offer a higher quality of life for people in a small municipality by, I don't know, rescuing public spaces, eliminating violence in these public spaces, and allowing people to again be part of a society in these public spaces. For example, you foster models of civic participation. I think this is very important to emphasize in these countries. You have to make the people part of the solution in order that the solution can be accepted easier, and in order to have a solution that really fits the needs of the people, and that take people into consideration.
So the Alianza para Centroamérica is creating synergies. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? But you as you said, you can listen, you can learn, and try to cooperate and find the best solution for each and every country. So that's exciting to know. We only have 10 minutes left. So for the audience, this is the time. If you would like to give us your questions, your comments, that would be the time frame. So please, don't hesitate, give us your questions and comments. And for the last 10 minutes, I would like to ask Elena and Maite. Maite first, please. What are visions, what are hopes for the future when it comes to Honduras and the work CARE is implementing and planning for mid and long term? What is on your list, Maite?
Well, we have big expectation with the new government because we have a woman for first time in history to be the president. And the most importantly about that is the gender agenda of the president, which is something key for the work we have been doing in gender justice. And because we have been working with women rights and women and feminist organizations who has very clear what are the solutions that are needed in order to advance the gender justice agenda. So for me, that's a hope, and that's something that we are going to pursue and to be accompanied type of movements. The other expectation or hope that we have as CARE is the work that we do at community level. We have been seeing that grassroots organizations are there. They have been doing the work that the state has not been doing during the humanitarian crisis. So we need to continue working with this type of actors. And basically, we are talking about different type of organization that you will find in every place that you go to Honduras. You will find an organization, something organized there that has the power to do something together. And finally, I think it's a great opportunity, the USA strategy of root causes of migration, because there is a different focus that we have been seeing in the past. And there is an important role for civil society organization, for private sector, and for the governments to work together and really try to look more solutions that promote opportunities and an economic model that be more inclusive and sustainable. So I think this is key, and as CARE, we are being part of this partnership for Central America. And we are going to be offering the Center for the Gender Justice Center, which is basically facilitating all that we have been doing in the field that works for this initiative. I think Honduras is, we have platforms, we are coalitions of civil society organizations, very strong. We are part of the humanitarian network who has been doing a very important job in the country for coordination, for advocacy. So I think it's critical to be working together.
Right.
And yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Maite. Time is running. Elena, let's have your take on Fundación Elotera, and then we've got one question from the audience, and then we will have to wrap it. Elena, Fundación Elotera and your plans for the future in 2 minutes, please.
Well, we're gonna continue pushing for the economic reforms. We need jobs. We need employment. That 93% of the people that are leaving the country is because economic problems. So we right now we're trying to work with the private sector in trying to talk with the public sector and to make the economic reforms that the country needs to have more employment in stable employment in well-paid jobs for the people. So that's one part of the solution. In the other hand, we need quality of education. The schools just opened like 2 weeks ago after 2 years and a half closed by because of COVID. So we need quality in education, and we need economic reforms for have a better country in try to have less immigration to the United States and Spain. So that's our focus right now.
Yeah, so jobs, education. This is the takeaway we're having. That's good. Thank you very much for summarizing that. Elisabeth, I would like you to answer Michael Geisler's questions regarding Honduras' role in the future. Michael is wondering, on one hand, Honduras is one of the few countries with official diplomatic relations to Taiwan. On the other, the social and economic ties to Cuba are enhanced. And obviously, there's a dilemma when it comes to ideology. Elisabeth, a very short take and answer on this before we have to close our web talk, please.
I think Honduras has to take a more important role in international politics. I think sometimes Honduras is very occupied only with their own problems in the country, which are many, as we saw. But I think a more intensive international agenda would be important. As for the ideological question, well, we have to see. We will have to see how the current government on what the current government will focus in the upcoming months and years, because the relations with Cuba are there, obviously, and we will have to see if there is a change in diplomatic relations eventually towards Taiwan or not, because we should not forget that obviously China is looking for opportunities to invest in countries in Latin America and gain more influence in the region. So it will depend obviously on the local governments until where this foreign aid from China is accepted or not in the future.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Elisabeth. Yeah, I think that is what we could bring in 60 minutes. So thank you very much for the three panelists being with us. Elena, bringing us your passion, your excitement when it comes to entrepreneurship and pushing towards more people becoming independent, becoming self-reliant by inventing themselves, opening enterprises and idea. And we understand Fundación Elotera is the one who's really helping and pushing towards that direction. Maite, thank you so much for giving us an idea of the groundbreaking work CARE is doing in Honduras. And we hope you will have the power to keep on pushing for the most vulnerable, as we learned, women and girls and those affected by disasters. And the challenges ethnic minorities are facing, especially in the rural areas. So, Maite, that was very kind that you were with us and giving us an idea of CARE's work. And Elisabeth, thank you very much for giving us the political perspective, the eagle eye on the region, and that was very helpful. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much in the audience. We apologize for the little technical hiccups. We had wished to offer you the English-Spanish translation throughout the whole 60 minutes, but sometimes that is fuerza mayor. That was outside our control, so hopefully you could still be with us and following us. If you would like to be with us next time in the course of the 10 most underreported humanitarian crises, please join us. It will be Colombia on May 16th in 2 weeks' time. So looking forward to having you on board again. Please stay healthy and safe, and good to see you. And thank you very much for being with us. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.